Hello everyone, it's Callum from Cagefront here, and in today's video, we are going to be recapping UFC 314, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes, which has just taken place, and this card absolutely delivered. Was stacked on paper and delivered the whole entire way through. The best card we have had of this year, and did pretty well on predictions overall. Went 10 out of 13 with 6 of those predictions being perfect round by round, and the method as well. So a pretty good day at the office. Now the 3 that I got wrong was Dan Ige beating Sean Woodson, who Sean Woodson was looking good early, but Dan Ige was really just pressuring, pushing the pace, and just found the mark ultimately, and he did a very good job to capitalize on that. I do think it was an early stoppage, but he was gonna realistically finish the fight anyway. Woodson was really badly hurt. And speaking of badly hurt, Nikita Krylov got folded like a fucking lawn chair by Dominick Reyes, and he was just the one that landed that check hook perfectly. And as I said in the predictions, Krylov does not have the best strike defense, but was just better overall with the volume on the front foot. But the hook landed, and my goodness, what a finish. And then, of course, the last one that I got wrong was Paddy Pimblett. And Paddy Pimblett, I am giving the Performance of the Night award here. He did look incredible about Michael Chandler, and I'm probably going to get roasted in the comments of the hot take video that I did release the other day, ultimately believing that Michael Chandler would be able to beat Paddy Pimblett. However, it's not as black and white as that. If you actually watch the video, my prediction is if Michael Chandler was able to forward pressure and actually suffocate Paddy Pimblett effectively within that first round and keep that pace, then he would be too much for Paddy on the feet when it came to striking against him while he was on the back foot. Now, Michael Chandler, with the piss poor fight IQ that he did display, being very passive, and then worst of all, taking Paddy Pimblett down. What was he going to do with that? I mean, he ultimately landed some decent shots in the first round. Good shots on the feet when he got aggressive, where he was finding success. But then on the ground, I mean, aside from a couple pot shots, what are you trying to achieve? You're not going to submit Paddy Pimblett. And as I ultimately said in that hot take video, if Chandler takes Paddy down, I hope that he loses. I really do, and that's what happened. He took him down. I mean, he got busted open completely, which was a result of him taking Paddy down and then falling off the top of Paddy's back. And then from there, I mean, Paddy was just absolutely fantastic with the striking on the front foot. Now, I didn't say anything about Paddy not being good on the front foot when it came to his striking. The problem was him keeping his chin high when he was getting pressed backwards, and him trying to find a check hook, because that's where he's been tagged multiple times. And to this day, still, even with this greater performance, we didn't get to see anything different within that. And ultimately, without seeing anything different and him being challenged there, it still is a flaw for him. But regardless, as I said, Chandler deserved to lose. He deserved to lose this fight. Paddy 100% deserved to win. He looked fantastic. He looked great, really good on the front foot. I mean, the size was just incredible. He was really just covering distance well with the combinations he was using between the boxing and obviously flinging kicks with a 3-piece combination there. He was just doing a very good job within that. And then being obviously able to out-transition Chandler on the ground, because Chandler, for some fucking reason, wanted it to be on the ground. So yeah, Paddy Pimblett ultimately really deserved this win. And after busting the cheek open of Chandler, I mean, that's where Paddy was gaining so much more confidence, was pressing him as well. And Chandler ultimately being passive against a guy like Paddy, that's where he's going to give Paddy those opportunities, which he did. And then Paddy got the finish ultimately overall. So fantastic job for Paddy to get this one done. Definitely deserved Performance of the Night. And I want to be seeing him exactly what his call out said. I want to be seeing him versus Charles Oliveira next. 2 great submission artists to see who really is the best out of those 2. And with Paddy's striking on the front foot being so good, as well as Charles obviously improving with the Muay Thai, we have got skills absolutely everywhere in that fight. So please make it happen. Now, from the co-main event, we got to look at the main event, which is the fight of the night for me. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Ultimately, I don't give a shit about the Paddy Pimblett loss, because my guy won. My guy won. I've still got the wrapping on this, but my guy won. Thank God. I was so worried in this fight about Volkanovski, honestly. I was so concerned because Diego Lopes has that power. And as I said in the hot take video for their fight, I mean, Diego Lopes, he would be able to really find the finish within this fight, within the first 2 rounds. And he almost did in that second round. But this, happily enough, perfect prediction. Got every single round correct. I said 49-46 for Volkanovski, with Diego Lopes finding success in that second round, getting more aggressive and landing on Volkanovski and hurting him, which is exactly what he did. He dropped Volk because Volk bent backwards and he was on a linear angle, which the straight from Lopes found the mark and he dropped him. And Volkanovski obviously hurt Lopes within that round, but not as much. So Lopes definitely deserved that round. And I do think it's arguable that Lopes could have got the 4th round. He was landing some good shots in that round specifically, and that's where the cuts were really, really just pouring blood. And Volkanovski, I mean, the guy just absolute aura farming here. I mean, the guy was absolutely incredible with his footwork. The fight IQ, the footwork was literally 99% perfect, just aside from when he moved backwards and didn't circle out and got dropped. I mean, aside from that, he was pretty much absolutely perfect because he was consistently circling away from the power side of Lopes. Lopes just could not get within proper range to find those clear shots. And Volkanovski, with the overhands and the hooks, was just timing them perfectly in those exchanges. Now, I was tensed as hell every time they went into those exchanges, because if one person's coming out of that, it's more so Lopes because of the power that he generates. And Lopez's shots were ultimately having more of an effect on Volkanovski than Volkanovski's were on Lopes. I mean, Lopes is younger, he's fresher, you know, and he did have like a decent performance, but Volkanovski, he's just that fucking guy. And he is that guy that broke the curse between 125 pounds and 155 pounds. He's literally the first person to actually be able to win a belt over 35 years old. That is incredible to break that curse. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be damn Volkanovski, honestly. The guy is one of the GOATs cemented. Like, he looked incredible in this fight. You know, faced some adversity, and he got through it through the championship rounds and through to that 3rd round. And he was just doing the exact right thing that he needed to do, because Lopes clearly was frustrated as all hell. Like, he was screaming at him. He was wanting him to engage with him in the center. And Volkanovski, if he does that, he gives Lopes the highest chance of taking him out. And Volkanovski circled out appropriately every time, didn't listen to him, and outlanded him overall, tripled the output. It was like 150 to 50 strikes overall by the end of that fight, and definitely deserved the 49-46. So Paddy loss stinks, but I don't care. The Volkanovski win absolutely makes up for everything. Now, aside from the main and co-main and no awards here, I do want to touch on the Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull fight, which Patricio Pitbull, obviously coming in, it is his debut. And look, he had some success at points, but Yair Rodriguez, first of all, was on something this week. I mean, fighting with Diego Lopes, taking absolutely no shit. I mean, he knew that he needed this win, and my goodness, the guy's ground and pound and just the absolute flow of his taekwondo in this fight was fantastic. Like, he had the literal definition of a chip on his shoulder. Like, the guy needed this win. He wanted this win. He was hungry. And Pitbull, the guy is a very good fighter, but if you haven't already seen my fighter spotlight video on Pitbull versus the top 15 featherweights coming into the UFC, in the Yair Rodriguez segment, I do explain that Yair, he is just a nightmare matchup for Pitbull, literally out of anyone in that division overall, because Yair is able to move laterally so well and utilize dynamic striking. Pitbull, when he fought Sergio Pettis, Sergio Pettis is a similar style fighter, and he struggled so badly because Pitbull is so much smaller, so much shorter, and fights on a linear angle. And Yair was just able to cross that out and land shots where Pitbull wasn't able to counter. And that's where he definitely deserved the decision win here. And that was another perfect prediction. Now, we also got to touch on the autistic matchup of dreams. Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. Oh my goodness. Gene Silva, this guy is going to break into the top 5 so quickly. He is going to make waves in that top 10 very, very easily, I do believe. The guy is just so good. Like, he is ridiculously good when it comes to just simple confidence. Like, he was egging Bryce Mitchell the entire first round. Now, I thought that Gene would be able to finish him in the first round, but he was egging on a little bit too much. And Bryce was landing the outside leg kicks very well. He was landing front leg side kicks to the body well. But I just, realistically, you go from start to finish, Bryce just didn't stand a chance. He really didn't. He got Gene Silva down basically once. Gene Silva's takedown defense was fantastic. Looked absolutely incredible. Was able to sprawl effectively. I mean, underhooks as well. Just push Bryce off of him. And when Gene started he got really angry when Bryce into the second round didn't glove touch. And that's when Gene Silva just completely changed his personality, like with the 50 personalities he has, and he literally just went balls to the wall. He was landing fantastic strikes in the exchanges, and when it got to the ground, I mean, Gene with the guillotine in the first round, that guillotine attempt, that was very close. And then in the second round for the finish, the ninja choke. Gene Silva, 12-1 as a submission against Bryce Mitchell. The only other person to do it is Ilia Topuria. Gene Silva submits Bryce Mitchell unconscious, even though he tapped. That's how fucking tight that choke was. And Gene Silva is just an absolute animal, as we know from him literally jumping on the cage and barking at everyone, which after a performance like that, you just can't fucking blame him. The fighting nerds are looking absolutely ridiculous, and he is going to be moving into that top 10. Now, for the start of the main card, where I'm giving my finish of the night and my upset of the night award, got to give it to Dominick Reyes. And this one is just a bit more wholesome overall, because Dom Reyes has gone through so much. Losing to John Jones, which was a razor close fight, and then going on a 3-fight KO loss streak, to then picking up 2 wins and now absolutely flooring Nikita Krylov. Like, absolutely fantastically well. I mean, Dom Reyes' real out in this fight was finding a counter shot against that poor strike defense. And what did he do? Deliver that on a fucking silver platter. Like, he absolutely found the perfect way to finish Nikita Krylov and just destroyed him. Slept him with the one short hook when he was on the back foot, and then ground and pounded him out. I mean, Nikita Krylov is a kill or be killed fighter because his strike defense is pretty dog shit, but when he is on the front foot and he's hurting the opposition, that's when he is an absolute killer. But Dom Reyes found that hole perfectly, and he 100% deserved this win. And him as a basically 3-1 underdog, I hope a lot of you guys made some money on him, because honestly, just seeing him win, I mean, I didn't pick him, but I'm happy to see him win, because he has gone through a lot, from almost beating the GOAT to then, well, arguable GOAT, and then, you know, getting KO'd 3 times by all these guys that literally were coming up for a title, and he has just come off that title fight against John Jones, and he's gone down and down and down and almost unranked, and then he's built himself back up, and now he's going into that top 10, and man, I'm keen to see what is next for him. I'd like to see him versus like a Jan Blachowicz, possibly an Alexander Rakic, anything within that top 10 realistically. He just looks absolutely incredible and did a fantastic job in this fight. I'm very happy for him. Now, lastly, to the Fighter to Watch award, and I predicted that this guy would be for the Fighter to Watch award, Marco Tulio against Tresean Gore. Marco Tulio looked absolutely incredible. He was stringing every combination under the sun that you could against Tresean Gore's bloody head. And credit to Tresean Gore. I don't know how the guy stayed in it for as long as he did. Blood all over his face. I mean, the jab, the 2, the spinning heel kicks. I mean, the spinning back kicks to the body, the leg kicks. This guy was just on. Absolutely on. And Marco Tulio, if he is literally performing like that on the feet, and he goes and pushes towards the top 15, and he's just called out Marvin Vettori, which I don't think he'll get right now, but I would be confident he could beat Marvin Vettori. To be honest, if he's putting on a performance like he has done at UFC 314, this guy is one of the most promising guys in middleweight outside the rankings, without a doubt, and he's only just landed on the scene. And he, honestly, we haven't even seen anything of his submission game, really, so I mean, is enough to deal with the striking. And the middleweight division doesn't have the greatest pedigree of ground game as well, so the striking, especially moving through like the top 10 to top 15 area through those 5 rankings, I think he can do a lot of damage. So definitely keep an eye out for him. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this recap video, and I hope you enjoyed UFC 314 as well. And if you're keen to see more content, definitely check out the video on the screen, and please like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.